What's up, beautiful people? Today we're bringing Professor Jordan Peterson back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video titled "This is Really Happening," and it seems Jordan Peterson is in fight mode right now because he said in the previous video that he's going to fight the court ruling to the end. Well, I'm very interested to see this one, so let's get to it.
Free discourse is essential, yet fragile. Professionals in Canada now grapple with serious constraints on voicing divergent views. Dr. Jordan Peterson, a renowned clinical psychologist, recently faced a chilling crackdown in the form of disciplinary action restricting his speech. In this video, Dr. Peterson breaks his silence to expose a concerning disciplinary ruling against him by a professional governing body. Brace yourself as Dr. Peterson reveals some concerning details. From weaponization of anonymous complaints to the forced re-education targeted at him. You'll be shocked to discover how core liberties are being dismantled while the public remains unaware. Thankfully, Dr. Peterson refuses to let freedom of speech disappear without a fight. Listen as he shares his response against this authoritarian attack, threatening liberties for professionals and citizens alike. The future of free expression in Canada hangs in the balance. This video raises some vital questions about overreach and the fragility of constitutional rights. Dr. Peterson makes a compelling case that safeguarding free speech is vital to avoid sliding into tyranny. He is taking an uncompromising stand for citizens, professionals, and truth-tellers who refuse to be silenced by tyranny. This battle has really only just begun.
The last poll indicated that Canadians believe that Justin Trudeau is the worst prime minister we've ever had. I agree with Canadians that Justin Trudeau is the worst prime minister that the country has ever had. And I think he's actually far worse than people think. And I think that professionals in Canada no longer have the right to express their thoughts, which invalidates them as useful professionals. And I think they're pushed into a corner so badly that even the brave professionals I know, and I do know some, are unwilling to fight this, to even make public statements in support of me. And if you think that is the hallmark of a free country, there is really something wrong with you. You bloody well better wake up. And if you think that if that's happening to professionals, that it's not going to happen to you, well, you are exactly naive enough to deserve exactly what's coming down the pipeline for you. It's like, well, you have this fundamental right, but what? What rules? There's a rule, eh? There's a rule, is that right? That the College of Psychologists has, that I can't criticize Justin Trudeau on Twitter. That's a rule, is it? And if someone anywhere in the world complains about the fact that I've criticized Justin Trudeau, let's say, that all of a sudden that's a rule, even though it wasn't a rule. And of course I get to criticize Justin Trudeau, not only because he richly deserves it in every way you can possibly imagine, but because that's actually what freedom of speech means. So I have no idea what the court means by, abiding by the rules. So the rules are whatever the bloody College of Psychologists determines constitutes a rule after the fact, given their complete freedom to make manifest any rules they want.
Yeah.
It's beyond comprehension. And yes, but I have freedom of speech. It's like, do I now? What do I get to talk about? Apparently, I can't even talk about the weather. Here's another fact. This is literally the truth. People can submit a complaint to the College of Psychologists from anywhere in the world. And so someone in the States submitted a complaint about the last conversation I had with Joe Rogan, where I expressed my doubts about the validity of economic predictions based on climate science. The complainant submitted the entire transcript, right? A 3-hour conversation as evidence of my unprofessional behavior. And the college, which did not have to pursue that complaint, went forward with it. So okay, I talked to Joe for 3 hours. Apparently, everything I said in that 3 hours was unprofessional and a disgrace to the profession.
Everything.
When professionals are muzzled from voicing facts and their opinions, truth suffers along with accountability. Suppressing dissent may be expedient for the powerful, but an open contest of ideas is the only soil in which democracy and progress can grow.
I think that the fundamental bedrock of our institutions is still solidly enough in place, although it is threatened, that we don't have to walk down this increasingly authoritarian route. And, there's some positive signs. One of them being, for example, that the bloom is off the Trudeau rose. There's a man who couldn't even tell the truth about his marriage. What's the alternative? You said, for example, you left. Well, there were business reasons for that too, because it does turn out that the United States is a place it's much more straightforward to do business in the United States. And most people who are watching and listening will not know that Canadians now make 60% as much as Americans make. 60%. And the gap is growing. And that's a huge difference. We were at parity in the 1970s. It's a catastrophic difference. And Trudeau and his bloody minions, Stephen Guilbeault, prime among them, Guilbeault said today that the days of free and plentiful energy are over. Well, there's no difference between energy and wealth. And there's particularly no difference between energy and wealth for poor people. You want to make poor people poor, make energy expensive. Energy is work. You make work expensive, you demolish the poor, obviously. Well,
there's a lot of push too for that tax, the carbon tax, the other one coming.
I object to that. That's why I object to the climate fear-mongering apocalyptic lies, because it destroys the poor. Just so that the people who are screeching about the sky falling can feel momentarily moral about their role as planetary savior. It's like, no, to hell with you. Seriously. You leave the poor alone. Canadians have no idea to what degree professionals in Canada are now required not to say what they think or to lie outright. Now, I don't think we have the
or to affirm delusion
right to free speech in Canada. I think this decision today demonstrates that. Obviously, I saw the same thing with the Law Society in Canada. Partly was why I'm not surprised at this ruling. I've been through this before, and I see that Canada's walked down that idiot path for at least 30 years. So our country is in, well, this is where I start to get doubtful. It's like either I'm wrong or the country is in trouble. Now, to tell you the truth,
you better be
I would
wrong.
rather be wrong. But I've thought it through. It's like, okay, what did I do exactly? None of my clients complained. That has nothing to do with this. And I expressed my political opinions, which I have a right to do, which I believe were correct. I think that, and Canadians agree with this now. The last poll indicated that Canadians believe that Justin Trudeau is the worst prime minister we've ever had. Well, that was sort of my point a year ago, And so if I can't say that, and yet a majority of Canadians believe it to be true, and believe me, a lot more of them are going to believe that. A lot more are going to believe that in the relatively near future. In what sense do I have anything even approximating freedom of speech? And if I can't have that opinion, and therefore, in principle, no one can, then what do we do when we're stuck with a prime minister, let's say, who everyone has decided is the worst prime minister the country's ever had? What's specified in the specification is that I have to be retrained, regardless of how long that takes, until the people who are responsible for the retraining have decided that I've learned my lesson. Right. So don't tell me that's specified, and don't bloody well lie, you pikers, and tell me that that's not disciplinary. How pathetic can you get? It's like, if you're going to come after me, why don't you bloody well admit that you're disciplining me, which is absolutely 100% obvious, especially because you're also claiming that I deserve to be disciplined. It's like claiming you're in favor of freedom of speech and then telling me that, well, except that, you're a professional. And of course, we wouldn't want professionals to be able to, tell the truth or say what they think, because everyone wants their professionals to lie to them, because that's how you get the best advice and guidance, obviously.
Compelled conformity of thought has no legitimate place in a free society. When re-education is dictated without any actual professional misconduct, but simply to enforce approved opinions, It exposes an authoritarian agenda of control rather than true accountability.
Just so everybody's watching and listening knows, so, someone can take out a complaint by going and filling out a form at the Ontario College of Psychologists website. So if anybody out there is inclined to complain some more, just go ahead and do it. But the college doesn't have to pursue those complaints because they can define them as vexatious and just troublemaking, right? So it isn't even only that members of the public, the millions of people that I'm communicating with, let's say, are prone to complain, but that the college itself decided that that was sufficient grounds to threaten my license and to force me into re-education. Of course, they're not doing it for disciplinary reasons. It's like, what the? I don't even understand what that means. If you're not doing it for disciplinary reasons, it's like, why is it forced? And why am I being upbraided? That's like the definition of disciplinary.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows you how mendacious the decision is.
Yeah.
But I will take this as far as necessary.
He said this in a video yesterday. Say he'll fight it to the last.
So, and like if I tell you, Mick, I am very much inclined, as you know, to, if I'm accused of doing something, to rake myself over the coals and to try to find out if I did something wrong. And I went through those allegations at Christmas in detail, and it was very stressful because I thought, maybe there's something here, and that I went beyond the bounds of reasonable conduct. And I was very apprehensive. There were 13 charges at that point. They've dropped 7. God only knows why they dropped those 7. It's just arbitrary. But I went through all 13 in detail, hundreds of pages of allegations. And when I came out of that, I thought, well, first of all, I thought, how daft can you be to pursue allegations put forward by people who lied about the fact they were clients of mine? Those should have been just taken off the table instantly, obviously. You can't start by trusting the word of someone who lies in writing about something fundamental. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the college has the right to decide that I can be re-educated forcibly with the risk of my license, essentially because I made political statements that the members of the college don't agree with. And those opinions involve 2 criticisms of Justin Trudeau, 1 criticism of his chief of staff, 1 criticism of an Ottawa city councillor, and then my objection on Joe Rogan to climate apocalyptic fear-mongering that idiot tyrants are foisting on the general population.
When dissent against the powerful is punished as professional misconduct.
So basically, he's punished for talking against the government. You can't do that anymore. Yeah, last time we saw the people who were part of the truck riots and stuff, they had to freeze their bank accounts. Seems like the powers that be really don't want people to talk anymore.
Without any wrongdoing, it exposes an authoritarian agenda masquerading as accountability. True protection of the public interest requires fostering an open marketplace of ideas, not coercive silencing of dissent.
Despite my proclivity to feel guilt, which is quite substantive, and despite my temperamental unwillingness to engage in conflict, not only do I not see what I did wrong, I think what I've done on the public communication front is my responsibility as a clinician to tell the truth about what I see. And so we'll make it public in every possible way. And I'll bring to bear every single bit of public pressure I can possibly muster on this particular topic. And we will watch over the next 3 years, because that's how long it'll take, exactly how this plays out. So, and we've cordoned off our life. I can deal with this without it having interfere with everything else I'm doing. I've talked to Tammy, I've talked to you and Julian. My family's on my side. We're solidly committed to this. I have a good legal team. We have the money necessary to do this, and we have the connections. So if the college
He's ready for war.
Wants to
He's down for war
re-educate me,
Let's go.
They're more than welcome to try. But if they think they're going to do it in secret, they've got another think coming.
Defending constitutional rights passionately, rationally, and non-violently can inspire hope. The struggle for freedom is not easily won, but it is so vital it must be fought by every generation.
So that was a video by Jordan Peterson, another good one. And I do like the fact that the man is up and ready to fight for free speech, because free speech cannot be one-sided. You cannot be free to talk about something until you talk about this. It kind of feels like a dictatorship, you know, where it's masqueraded to be free speech, but then behind the scene they are damaging you, you know. Pinpointing your mistakes just so they can use it to ruin you. We cannot do that, especially in a society that is painted as democracy. So yeah, I do encourage Jordan Peterson for fighting for free speech. It's going to take a lot of resources from him. I don't know if he can really fight the government. Is it the government? I want him to win. I really do want him to win, because a win for him would be a win for a lot of other people who especially don't have the capacity to speak up or to fight back in the manner that Jordan Peterson has. So yeah, I really do want him to win the case. Let me know what you think about that. Those are just my thoughts. Feel free to add, correct, or critique anything. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a wonderful day. Peace.
I made this bet on my own, bet on my own.